time now for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life here in France with Florence Villeneuve.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Flo. Now, it might seem paradoxical, but France, which is really the home of Louis Pasteur, his pioneering discoveries in immunology, is also one of the world's most skeptical countries when it comes to vaccines.
Well, it repeatedly tops the charts when it comes to studies on vaccine skepticism. In fact, in early 2019, a fascinating global Gallup study was essentially on public attitudes towards science and health was published. And you can see it here. When asked whether vaccines are safe, 33% of French people disagreed with that, which means that France came out on top ahead of Gabon, Togo, Russia, and Switzerland. For your information, the USA, it's 11%, so quite a difference there. Now, according to the same poll, 20% of French people don't believe that vaccines are effective.
Before we dive into the whole anti-vax movement here in France, what's the situation exactly? How many vaccines are obligatory?
Well, since the 1st of January 2018, 11 vaccinations are compulsory for children to enter childcare and school. And here they are. You see quite a few of them. There's diphtheria, tetanus, polio, whooping cough, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis B, influenza, pneumonia, and meningitis C. Now, before 2018, only the first 3 here were obligatory, and the other 8 were just recommended. Essentially, the decision of whether or not to inoculate a child was in the hands of the parents, and many opted out of these non-obligatory ones before 2018. Now, alarmed with low vaccination rates for these non-obligatory ones, public health officials led by the health minister Agnès Buzyn decided to take action, but they were met with a whole lot of criticism, a whole lot of skepticism, and not just by anti-vaxxers, so people against vaccines. Some parents just thought it was way too excessive.
I don't think we're going to vaccinate our children against 11 diseases. That's insane.
Of course I want to protect my kids. I don't want them to catch diseases that we've made so much progress on. But we're talking about directly injecting little children with weak immune systems.
Until the start of the 2000s, about 90% of French people were pro-vaccine. But over the years, the effectiveness of vaccinations has increasingly come into question.
Well, and some of the reasons for that are very similar to other anti-vax movements in other countries. There are theories online about the dangers of vaccinations. Some people say that they're just poison. There are also unfounded links between vaccinations and autism. There are also conspiracy theories about how big pharma and the government are putting profitability ahead of the health of children. What's interesting is vaccine skepticism is much like a virus, actually, and it spreads quickly. It spreads online. Just listen to this sociologist.
If you do a quick search for vaccine risk, immediately a huge number of unofficial websites pop up warning about the dangers of vaccines for little children that clearly discourage getting vaccinations. Vaccine controversies have always been around. They're as old as vaccines themselves. What's changed in our society is that people are more and more independent from medical authorities and institutions. People seek out information on their own. They want to make their own decisions. Sometimes they are over and badly informed.
Now, some of the reasons why the anti-vax movement is so strong here in France is really specific to France.
Well, analysts say that skepticism towards vaccines reflects a deep-seated mistrust in institutions, and France has one of the highest levels of distrust in the government. Now, on top of that, in recent years, there have been several high-profile scandals involving drug companies that have really shaken public confidence here in France. For instance, in the 1980s, there was this massive HIV-tainted blood transfusion scandal, and then in the 90s, there was a row over the side effects, or possible side effects, of the hepatitis B vaccination, and then really in 2009, there was a major turning point. Essentially, the French government ordered huge quantities of a vaccine against the swine flu epidemic, and less than 10% of those vaccines were used. And so the government was seen as having massively overordered with public funds, and this raised questions about financial interests.
And skepticism against vaccinations is having very real consequences, not only around the world, but here in France as well.
Well, diseases that were believed to have been eradicated are developing once again. And researchers are really alarmed by this and in a way outraged, starting at the Pasteur Institute here in France.
Today, people are afraid of vaccinations, but they're not afraid of getting infected because they can't remember a time when these diseases were around. We don't catch them anymore thanks to vaccines. But all these diseases, and there are so many of them, will come back if we stop vaccinating.
And it's already starting to happen. For instance, the measles, which is our word du jour, it's called rougeole in French. The measles, which are an extremely contagious disease, well, it's been making a comeback in France in recent years. Let's take a look at the figures from 2018, which compares the cases in Germany and the cases in France. You can see there are so many more cases in France, and there were 3 deaths in 2018 linked to the measles. Now, this is a cause of concern for medical authorities here in France, but it can also have global consequences. Actually, in early 2019, a family of French tourists caused an outbreak of the measles in Costa Rica, which hadn't seen a case since 2014. Why is that? Well, the family's 5-year-old boy hadn't been vaccinated against the disease. So what is the solution to this skepticism against vaccinations? Well, there is no vaccination against conspiracy theories, but education and transparency campaigns could be a way forward, because for now it remains a hot button issue, a divisive issue, and there is certainly a trust issue here as well.
Flo, thank you so much for that. It's a fascinating topic. Florence Villeminot with that, French Connections. Don't forget, if you have your own questions about France or the French, you could always send us a tweet at Flo Villeminot.